today it is Saturday, which means it is park run day, and I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about Berkeley Green Parkrun. So firstly, this park run is located to the southwest of England in Gloucestershire, and it's located just to the west of the town of Berkeley. It's actually a very unusual one, as it is actually on the site of a disused nuclear power station. It is a very flat 3-lap course, which has actually been known to be one of the fastest in the UK on a couple of videos which I've watched, and that also means that I definitely recommend wearing road shoes for this one. Trail shoes are definitely not needed. It is also good to note that the course is buggy/pram friendly, it is dog friendly, and there are toilets right near to the start, and there are also refreshments at the end waiting for you. Some people volunteer every week. This is a different group or different organisation that comes and volunteers for refreshments. I'll talk a little bit later on about who was supplying refreshments on the day that we went. It's actually also located right next to the River Severn, so when you have a look at this drone footage now as I zoom out, you can actually see the River Severn in the background and the nuclear site just in front, so it's a pretty cool one. Although in terms of how scenic the course is, you're mainly running around car parks, college buildings and roads and tracks which have been closed off for whilst you run. So therefore there are much more stunning park runs to this, but it is definitely a very good one for a PB. But before we do go any further, if you don't know what a park run is, it is essentially a 5k run which is run by a group of volunteers. They both time and marshal the event. Once you get to the end, you'll be given a finish token with your position on it. You'll scan that alongside your own personal barcode, and then later on you'll be sent an email with your official time and finish position. So that is all of the admin done. Now let's take a look at a summary of the course. So as we said earlier, it is a 3-lap course. You can see it is very flat in that top left hand corner, all on tarmac paths around that nuclear site. You can also see the river in the background there, and it has got an elevation gain of approximately 8 meters with a max elevation of 10 meters, so definitely one for a PB. So that is a short summary of the course, and now let's take a look at it in a bit more detail, starting off here on Cotswolds Way. You're going to make your way towards the east hand side before turning left around this building. Head your way forwards along Pennine Avenue before turning right. Now this is the road which you use to get into this park run, so 10 minutes before the park run starts they try and close off the car park so that you're not having cars drive into you as you do the run. You're then going to keep going forwards before you do a U-turn approximately here, which is quite close to the bus stop. You make your way back towards the west hand side before turning left at this halfway point. So there's a volunteer located here to point you off in the right direction. You cross that car park before turning left again, and then as you make your way forwards here, you'll start to feel a little bit of a decline as you turn around this right hand corner and onto the bottom level of the car park. You're then going to do the perimeter of this car park, so you're going to go all the way down to this far end where there's actually a really cool volunteer which has got his car basically down there with all 4 doors open, blasting out music and cheering you on. Then going to make your way back up to the north before turning right at approximately here, cross that car park, turn left and head your way back up to the top tier of the car park. You then turn left, head your way all the way down past where you crossed the car park up here, and then you'll get back to that building which you saw right at the start. You're going to turn left, head your way onto Pennine Avenue. There may be a gentle decline around here too as you weave your way in between these buildings before you do a wide bend U-turn around here, and then you head your way forwards along Pennine Avenue before turning left onto Malvern Avenue. So I'll probably say this is a very gentle incline before you head on to Cotswold Avenue and turn left. You're now next to the active building centre before you get to around here, and then do a U-turn, and then it is a long straight towards where you started. So you turn back off to the right, do that lap another 2 times, you end up doing 3 laps in total, and then on the 3rd lap you are going to finish approximately here where they then have the refreshment stall right next to the finish line. The run director was great as well. He had the whole megaphone set up with the loudspeakers, cheering at everyone on and supporting everyone along the whole of the run. So the volunteers at this park run are definitely one of the best that I've ever seen. So now we've had a look at the course and know what is coming up, let's take a look at some of the park run records which have been set here at Berkeley Green Parkrun. Starting off with the fastest male, that was Dominic James, which is actually weird because I believe Dominic James has been the fastest of another park run which we have done recently, so he must be a pretty good athlete, but he got a time of 15 minutes and 5 seconds, which is unbelievable. The fastest female was Tracy Hinksman with a time of 17:55, and the average number of runners is 115 at this park run. So it isn't too busy a park run, however the paths are quite tight as you'll see later on, so it does hinder it a little bit. And your average time is 29:22, which is actually very quick for a park run. So there are some incredible stats which have been set by other park runners. But now let's take a look at my GoPro stats. So I've currently done 61 park runs in total with 45 locations ticked off. My best finish position was 4th. That was set at Zaloni Jar, and my fastest times range from Summerdale Pavilion all the way down to Riverfront, and these were all pre-injury. So I'm working my way ever so slowly back towards these times. So I'm going to be aiming for a sub 25 today, and if I get a sub 25, I'll be happy. And so we made our way down to the start line, which was literally right next to where they'd just done all of the briefings. You can see quite a busy park run and quite a congested start too. You'll see as we set off that the path does close in a little bit, so everyone sort of mosh pits at the start. So do be careful right at the beginning, and you may lose a couple of seconds. Bit of a grey day today as well, not the nicest of weather, but it's not raining, so I'm pretty happy about that. But we're going to be setting off now, and we are off. So the timer has started. We make our way past that start sign and make our way forward. You can see it is very congested. Some people trying to use the grass and the curb there on that left hand side. Obviously you can do that, but do be careful not to trip over. So here we go, decent start, nice and flat to begin with at 9 meters elevation. We'll bear that in mind, it's probably around 9 meters for most of this course. And then we're going to turn off to the left around that building, as we saw right at the start. The marshal there pointing us off to the left. So we're now onto the Pennine Avenue and going to head off towards the car parks. So we're now turning off to the right and heading our way up towards the car park. This is where everyone can park on the day. There's not really that much other means of transport to get here. So if you've not got a car, you may find it quite difficult to get to this park run unless you live nearby. But do be careful as well not to try and leave. So you'll see in a minute there's a car on this right hand side which was trying to leave just at the wrong time. So it was just as the park run had started, so they get in the way a little bit. You'll see in just a moment. But it is nice and flat still, only at 10 meters of elevation. There was a lot of Scottish bagpipe music coming from here as well, so someone put a speaker at this end. So this is the first location where you could hear music. It was actually such a good park run in terms of volunteering. You then do a U-turn here, head your way back before turning off to the left-hand side in just a second over the car park. If you do find these reviews useful, do make sure to let me know by giving the video a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe. If you are new, we try and get a new park run out every week, so I do appreciate it very much. Thank you. And there we go, turning off to the left. That car shouldn't have been there. So usually the cars aren't allowed to come out at this time because obviously they're going to go into the park runners, so you have to leave them parked. So do be very wary of that. That once park run starts, you can't really leave. And now this is the right hand turn taking you onto the second level of the car park. You may be able to see from the footage that this is a slight downhill, so we're going down from 9 meters to probably about 7.6. As you see the elevation, that bottom right drop. And then once you're on this, it's pretty much level for most of this car park. There's also a really cool volunteer at the end, which we'll take a look at in just a second. And there he is, dancing along to his music. I'll see if I can get a little bit of the footage so you can actually hear what he was playing on the day. But we do a little U-turn there and head our way back up towards the top tier of the car parks. And there we go, so just over a kilometre done, and that was a pretty quick one compared to the most recent run, so it's a good start here. It's a gentle incline back up to that 9, 10, 11 metre level, so we are back up to this top car park now, so we need to make sure that we bear in mind that there is a little bit of a incline there to be careful of. You can feel it in your legs, definitely, and that is the only bit really that is a gentle incline. The rest of it isn't really any inclines or declines, so this is pretty much flat for the rest of the run. So you may begin to recognise where we are. That is the volunteer there on that right, which pointed us to the right previously. And now we're going to head our way downhill, so you'll begin to see a little bit of a decline in the elevation there, that bottom right hand corner. So this is quite a nice little decline, very gentle. and then we are heading our way off to the left-hand side. You might be able to see some of the quicker runners there in the distance on the right. My face cam is probably covering it right now, and then we're going to weave in and out of the buildings and then head our way up back towards Cotswold Avenue. So this is a very gentle incline. On the first lap you don't feel it at all, the second lap you start to feel it, and the third lap it is definitely dragging in this section because it's very close to the finish line. And then we're going to turn off to the left, do a U-turn, and then head our way back to the start. And there you go, you can see the start line and the finish line there on the left hand side with the run director with his mic. Got loudspeakers pumping out music, giving us motivational talks as well. Running past that start sign again as we make our way now into lap 2. So we did that first one in just over 8 minutes. So hopefully if we can keep this pace up, we should be getting sub 25. I'm definitely going to have to come back once I'm back to full fitness and try out all these park runs and see if we can get maybe sub 24 in them all, or try and make sure that we get sub 25 in every single one of these park runs. But if you do want any information on any of my splits or also the elevation as well, you can go and check out my Strava in the description below. I've got a little link to it. Just click on that, give me a follow, and you'll see all of the park run stats for each of the runs. So that is that U-turn done now, and we're about to turn off to the left. Thankfully the car's cleared now, so there's no car in the way. And it is spread it out too, because at the start you could see it was very, very busy and quite congested, but now it's nice and spread out, so overtaking is a lot easier and you can run at your own pace. But it is a busy start, so do bear that in mind and make sure to try and stand in the sort of position where you think you're going to finish. I know that's always quite difficult, so nothing really you can do about that. But now we're going to head back onto the lower level of the car park, watching out for that speed bump there, and then we're going to do a lap of the car park. So that is pretty much the lap of the lower car park complete. Now we're going to head our way back up towards that top end. We're probably about halfway done now. So I know it says 2.7 kilometers, but it came out at about 5.3 kilometers at the end. And then I had to look on my Strava, and the lines were just jagged all over the shop. So that's why it came out to be such a long park run. Again, watching out for the speed bump before heading our way back up out of this car park and into the top one. That's kilometre 3 complete, back onto this downhill section. So we've done 3 kilometres. First one was 4:40, second one was 4:36, and the third 4:38. So we're running at a pretty much similar pace throughout each kilometre. So I'm happy that I've managed to pace myself quite well so far. Just need to keep this up now, and it will be a sub 25 minute for sure, especially if it's 5.3 kilometres. We need to take that into consideration, but we are going quite quickly at the moment compared to last week anyway. And we're now back in between the buildings here, and then there's a little sort of undercover section at the end. Thankfully it didn't rain, but that would be quite nice for when it does rain. Got a nice little bit of cover. We're going back out round, doing a slight uphill and heading our way back towards the start. So we're just coming up to 3.5 kilometers, and we are doing the U-turn now at this top section, and then there's a sprint finish towards the end of lap 2. Well, it's not a sprint finish this lap. On the last lap it is a sprint finish, but we will not be sprint finishing just yet, as we have still got another lap to go. However, someone did finish. I think the fastest time was around 18. Let me take a quick look. I think it was 18 minutes and 21 seconds was the fastest time, so they won't be actually far from finishing, so we may just see them come past us now. I think we're going to be just a little bit too quick for them. Well, watch out for the speed bumps again. Run director giving us all of that motivation, and now we're heading into lap 3. kilometre 4 complete, a time of 4:41 this time, so we have slowed ever so slightly. I always find kilometres 3 and 4 are the worst kilometres, but that does mean that we've only got 1 kilometre left, or 1.3 Strava kilometres, and we're still doing quite well, and we should be getting under that 25-minute time, hopefully. So that is that final lap of the car park to do. And I have to say, with all these speed bumps, you'll notice there's a speed bump here, there's a few when you get up to the top. The people that are pushing pushchairs around, the poor kid inside must be bouncing up and down every time they go over a speed bump. Because I don't think there's enough space in to just dodge the speed bump. I'm not sure, maybe someone will have to let me know in the comments. But it looks like you're literally going to have to hit each speed bump like one there. And the poor kid's going to be bouncing up and down, but that's what we do for parkrun, I suppose. We're now heading our way back towards the start line. We're 4.6 kilometres in of the 5.3, remember. We're still running at a decent pace of around 4:48, 4:50 now. So we have slowed just a little bit, but this is mainly downhill from now on until that final section. And then it is a sprint finish to the end on the flat, which is quite a nice ending. So that's the final time we weave in between the buildings, and you'll see that the incline actually starts around here. So it is a very gentle incline from this section over another speed bump there, and then it is a gentle incline up here, turn left. This is probably more of a flat. You then turn left, and then it's a gentle incline to the top of Cotswold Avenue, and then you're going to turn left, do that U-turn to the finish. So it's about 100 metres to go. It is time to do this final U-turn, and it is a sprint finish. Here we go. So we are pushing our way forward. Someone is flying up there. You can see them on that right-hand side wearing black, just passing that pushchair now. They are flying to the finish line, but can we get sub 25? That is the question. Going to manage to pass a second person here. Not going to catch up with that pack in front of us, though. The finish line is just there. We're doing quite well. 24. Coming up towards the halfway point, it looks like we're going to beat 25 by quite a bit. And what we're going to get, we're going to get a time of 24:35. So we managed to get a time there of 24:35. Run director congratulating me there. Given my finish token, and I came in a position of 43rd too, so I'm pretty happy with that. And now let's go and take a look at a summary of the run. So that is Berkeley Green Parkrun complete, ticking off another B on that Alphabetia challenge. So we've also done Bath Skyline and Blaze Castle, two completely different ones as well, as this is definitely a PB potential run, whereas the other two are a lot slower and on grass in some sections. But like I said previously, this one is not done for the scenery. It is quite cool running around a disused nuclear power site. However, it's not the most interesting of park runs. However, the volunteers definitely make it at this park run, as they are just keeping you motivated, cheering you on. You got music in all the sections, so say you forgot your headphones or whatever, don't worry, because you're going to hear music in pretty much all of it. But the main reason for visiting this park run is definitely to try and get your PB. I know for me that's one of my slower times, but that's because I'm just recovering from injury. So I'm hoping in the next sort of 6 months, maybe 8 months, I could come back to this one and maybe it'd definitely be up there with my fastest 5 park runs. In terms of how busy this park run is, it's not really that busy. However, because it bottlenecks at the start, you may find yourself stuck behind a few people to begin with, and then once you get to the bottom section of the parking, then it begins to space out a bit because there's much wider paths and people are able to run at different paces then. And so you'll find that for the rest of the run after that, you're not really stuck behind anybody. I know I've given them credit for quite a lot of this video, but I want to say a massive, huge thank you to all of the volunteers. So it's definitely one of the best park runs which I have gone to for the volunteers. The atmosphere was amazing. So right at the start in the first section, you've got a guy with a thumb finger giving you high fives. You then do a U-turn around some Scottish sounding music with the bagpipes. You head your way down to that bottom car park. You've got the doors wide open, someone booming out music and dancing and cheering you on. And then as you come back towards the start, you've got another massive speaker with the run director literally singling people out and saying well done to each person as they run through. But as usual, we go through a couple of pinch points for this park run, which are going to slow you down so that you're not going to get your fastest time. But with this one, it is definitely one of the quicker ones. Pinch point number one is going to be the busy start. So obviously, right at the start, it was very busy. Everyone goes from a wide clump into a one-way road, so it is quite a tight start to this park run. So that's going to be pinch point number one. Pinch point number two is going to be the U-turn. So there are 2 U-turns on this course. The first U-turn is right near the start where you're running alongside the access road into the nuclear power station. And then the second U-turn is right near the end where you do that U-turn before sprinting your way to the finish. But apart from that, don't think I can complain because it's a really flat park run. So there's definitely nothing to do with elevation here. Maybe the speed bumps, you might have to sort of hop over those, but they don't really slow you down, to be honest. So overall, it is a pretty quick one. Not many pinch points to be said. But now, as we usually do, we go through a few tips and tricks on how to get to this park run if you are thinking of attending. Starting off with public transport. Now, it's not a great one for public transport. I'm not going to lie, because the closest station is probably the Cam and Dursley train station, which is about a 15-minute drive from there. So really, it's not that close to the park run and not really a useful station. In terms of the buses, the closest bus stop to this park run is at the Technology Park, which is a less than 1 minute walk. However, I don't believe this bus stop is suitable due to the timing of the buses. So I don't think you're going to be able to get there either on time or you'll end up being there really early. So I think public transport is a bit of a write-off for this park run. So if you're thinking of coming here, I'd probably recommend driving, and they have a free car park on site, which is obviously as you come in on the left hand side here, and it is free access. And it is access to the car park does shut 10 minutes before the park run starts, so do be wary of that. That is so that you're not driving into the park runners, as that road is used as part of the park run. And do make sure to remember as well that it doesn't reopen until the tail walker has passed that section too. But now we move into the most important section of this video, the post park run cafe. Now I don't believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, so someone might have to let me know in the comments below. But I don't believe that anyone goes to a cafe after, but instead they have a different organisation or charity comes to this park run and gives out food. So this time it was the Coley Recreation Action Group, which was serving refreshments, and they raised just over £100 as well, selling cakes, food, drink, and it was all delicious. So I definitely recommend just visiting and having a look and seeing what the organisation or charity has on offer on the day. So all of the money that was saved by the Coley Recreation Action Group all goes towards the Coley Recreation Ground, so that is great, good work from them. But that is everything you need to know in terms of tips and tricks for this park run. So now let's take a look at my after GoPro stats. I don't think much has changed, but we'll have a look anywhere, and there you go. So the number of park runs has increased to 62. Number of locations is now on 46, so we're getting really close to that half Cal Club, just 4 left before we get to 50. My best finish position still remains the same, and my fastest times all remain the same too. The day that I manage to knock off one of these top 5 times, I will be buzzing, because that will mean that I'm back to where I was pre-injury. But I do hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, do make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. It goes a long way, and I really appreciate all your support. And also let me know in the comments if you managed to get to park run this week and where you headed off to. But if you did enjoy this one and you want to go and check out another, you can see last week's park run, which was actually at Eastville Park. So that was a year after I'd done Eastville Park previously, to see how much I had lost in terms of time this time, because I'd injured myself 3 times, and there's an injury video which you can check out too. Or you can go and check out all of my other tourism worldwide park runs, which you can check out in the worldwide park run playlist. Next week I'm heading a little bit further north towards Worcestershire, so I'm probably going to do one around there, so you'll go and check that out in next Friday's video. So I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.